Welcome back to Junction 119. This is Kellan.
This is Casen.
And for the officially 100th time, welcome to Junction 119. Casen, allow me to be the first person to wish you a happy 100th episode to you, my friend.
Yeah, happy 100th, man.
It's funny because when I uploaded, obviously our last show was from my basement. And when I was uploading it, I actually got the email from Podbean like that day saying like, "Hey, congratulations on your 100th episode." Because technically speaking, this is episode 101, but in the
Yeah,
chronology of our
yeah,
podcast, this
yeah,
is episode
yeah,
100. Because in that first
yeah. Because we did, we
episode,
did,
yeah,
we did have an episode 0. Yeah,
we had an episode 0 where literally like we didn't even really have an intro or really an outro. We just kind of yapped and wanted to see if we could even get this to work. And we developed our style and everything in the middle of the 2023 NFL playoffs or whatever it was.
yeah.
But yeah, so we're here for the 100th time and we've got a pretty simple lineup today. Cason has had a tremendous idea that we should draft something, which I will get into when we actually get there. But we do have a couple of things to talk about first. We're actually going to flip flop it here in a little bit. We're actually going to open the show talking about the Punisher, One Last Kill, talk a little bit of NBA, NHL. Then we're going to get into our draft of the day, which is going to take up the bulk of the time to celebrate 100 episodes. So, anything more to add, Kason? No breaking news, nothing I've heard of or whatever on this. It's
I
also
don't.
poignant that we're doing this on a Sunday, by the way, because this used to be the day we always did the
Yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah. Very true. Very
The very
true.
beginning, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, good, good, good. Did you get to watch? Well, okay. First of all, spoiler alert for The Punisher, and quite frankly, The Punisher show, and Punisher One Last Kill. 50 minutes. It's on Disney Plus. You can go watch it. We're just gonna talk full spoiler review here, and then when we're done talking, Casey, I think we can go ahead and rate it up like we
Mhm.
usually do. Um, when did you watch this? I want to ask. I'm curious.
When did last night at about midnight.
Gotcha. So you watched it at night. I watched it yesterday afternoonish, around the time that I said, "Yeah, we should probably talk about this on the show." So I was like, "Okay,
Yeah,
well, flip
yeah.
it on." And if you hadn't been able to watch it, we would have just done something else. But I have some reaction and feelings to it. Um, what did you think about that whole thing?
So I'm gonna let you go because you know more. I'm sure you've seen the show. Like, you saw the show, right?
No, I didn't see the
Okay,
show,
okay.
and
I
so
assumed you did.
I
Okay.
want to go ahead and just put that out there right away because I should probably just mention to you and anyone listening, watching, the Punisher's never been one of my favorite characters. Um, for no other reason other than I know it's he's extremist. He kills bad guys versus others. I just personally always thought that he was better as like an addition to stories rather than being his own character, sort of like Venom in the early days.
Hmm.
Those anti-hero characters, honestly, Deadpool a lot of the time in the comics earlier, like they're better on as a garnish on an already solid story rather than being able to carry a story themselves. All three of those characters have shown the ability to be able to carry their own story. I'm not saying that that's the case here, but I didn't love the whole Punisher story hijacking Daredevil season 2 when it all went down. I never found enough interest in his like personal story to watch the show, of which I didn't realize there were 2 seasons of that show. Which they show you glimpses in here of. I'm guessing it was just him tracking down this Nucci crime family that was responsible for the death of his whole family. In the
Hmm.
dark direction his life's gone. Um, Now that's me laying all my cards on the table. So I'm assuming we're in the same boat in that regard. You never saw it either.
Yeah, I did not. So which is curious because I, I guess getting into it,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I did see online was some commentary about how it's a little odd because the character development from the beginning of this 50-minute episode to the end is essentially the same development he goes through in the 2 seasons of the show. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
and so that gets into my whole point of the show, which is why does this exist? I mean, I don't know what boat you're in, but I was watching this and I was just like, so what is the whole point? like
around it was I'll tell you I know I'm jumping way ahead. It was around when the big tattooed guy ran in at the end as
yeah,
just like the last stitch resort to where I'm like, okay, this is getting stupid. Like I said that out loud. I literally
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
this is getting a little ridiculous. Like, okay, I get it. There's conflict here. He's gonna win.
Like he was in that like shop just
Yeah.
beating all those guys, and I was like, wait, there's 10 minutes left in this? Like what? I was
Yeah,
like, what?
yeah. Well, at one point, I actually had the other way happen. I looked up and it said there's 20 minutes of this thing left, and it felt like nothing had happened because nothing had really.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
just been flashbacks and him getting weird visions, and they reestablished that his PTSD is out there, and he's in no way coping with it healthily, and just I was like, okay, so we're pretty much back to square one. And then Manucci shows up, which is interesting. They hinted at a major like villain slash character of his in that moment, and I didn't really catch it until I was researching a little bit earlier today. That like big black dude that's with her, that's supposed to be Barry Barracuda. Like Barracuda's one of his villains from like the Punisher Max series, which is relatively recent. So they nodded that there's going to be something there. You know what I mean? Um,
Weird.
but I guess that's who that was supposed to be because he was there acting as her bodyguard. But I'm like, wait, so that's supposed to be a character at some point. You should, I mean, look that up at some point. But yeah, Barracuda is who that
Yeah.
was supposed to be.
Well, but part of it too was I'm like trying to figure out like when this thing takes place.
I agree with that.
Because I'm like, okay, so this is just like a war zone in the middle of this neighborhood that the cops do nothing about ever, and it's just like, what, like when is this happening? Like, is
Yeah,
where?
it doesn't seem safe even at the beginning of the episode. Obviously, when the one guy takes the dog from the old dude, I'm thinking to myself, okay, wait a minute. If this is the way most of New York is, well, then yeah, Fisk has the right idea.
Well, I think I saw something about how they saw
Yeah.
like task force armor somewhere
Hmm.
that it was hinting that it was taking place after, but I'm just so confused. Like, also, for the record, like when 5 minutes in they murder a dog, I was like, okay, this is officially like
Yeah, I
a
was
bit
like,
over the top.
this is
Like,
gonna be carnage for carnage sake, and it does feel that way. If you're someone who like, and I really do mean this, I don't think much happens in this one shot special. To where I really think that it's worth it that you really if you're really big into Punisher, yeah, watch that. Hopefully, yeah, but I know a lot
I
of people will watch this and listen to this without watching it. But
what I think happened was one of the creators of this episode was playing zombies, and they had the idea to film that apartment sequence,
yeah,
and then they just like figured out a story to build around it. Like they were like, I want to do this thing with Punisher just slaughtering people in an apartment building. And then
yeah,
it's just
and
like that's the whole point
not
of
much
the
in the
show.
way of story, not much in the way of real character arc, like you said. They're really just kind of reestablishing, okay, yeah, Punisher's out here, and if we do bring him back, it'll be in so it's he'll be just the way he was in the past. Like we're willing to not pull punches, which Disney Plus, we already know that because of the way Daredevil's been. But I will say, like, it really felt like they owed Barenthal like another thing on his contract, and like they didn't want to necessarily do a season 3 of Punisher, so let's just give him a one shot special and have him show up in Spider Man. Like after that, I don't know how any of this matters there, but like he's gonna feel so out of place. I think in the Spider Man film, like
Like
I think,
I feel like it would have made way more sense. Like if that was the end of it, if it was just like, hey, we owe him money and a
mhm.
credit, like he should have just showed up at in the finale of Daredevil. Like I don't like that would have made more sense.
I thought he
Like
was gonna have more to do with the plot of Daredevil. He had
let,
nothing
let
to do.
like for him to be completely absent from that season and then show up in this, I'm just very confused.
I'm very confused too, and I don't think what this was warranted him not being in Daredevil season 2. You get what I mean?
Well,
Born
but I
again.
feel like the whole point was that they were hinting that that was why he wasn't in it. Was that if the context of this is that this takes place after,
Hmm.
is that like he's like off on a bender on pills and alcohol,
Yeah,
and
and
then this like and
he's
that's why he's
he's
nowhere to
in
be
the
found.
project somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
I think If it does take place after, I think that's what they're hinting at.
Yeah, and
But
and
I don't
and
know.
if you think about it, also the last time we saw Frank Castle was when he escaped on his own from Fisk's makeshift prison. Remember, that was the last
Yeah.
time we saw him. So he probably was just like trying to lay low and all that. But yeah, I don't know, man. Just his self-destructive tendencies really deteriorated if that's where he's at by the beginning of this. Um, I don't know.
But like that's also the point of it's just like I my question is just like what is the intent of like clearly like that was basically probably the state he was in after his family was killed. And then
Exactly.
he becomes the Punisher and then he goes back to that place and then becomes the Punisher again. Like
Yeah,
it definitely just feels like why is he back in this place to then come out of it again? Like I
the
don't
the
see the
the,
point.
the reason for it, and if we're being honest, the reason for it is they're trying to reestablish the Punisher as a character for an audience that never saw his show. That's what it is.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
And I think that's the point is that like if
yeah,
you didn't want to watch the two seasons to show the development, watch this 50-minute thing to get essentially the point of his demons, like I guess.
100%. So
Like which okay.
Um, so I will say this: the action was really cool until it started getting a little over the top. But the entire apartment complex sequence was really, really awesome. I saw the internet just taking apart that him falling into the air conditioning
Yeah.
scene, which I rolled it back when I saw it, and I was like, yeah, this doesn't look good. Like maybe they did some touch up, in between that. But I was like, when I first saw it on Twitter, I was like, this looks like a PS2 graphics, and then I saw it again. I'm like, yeah, it still doesn't look good here, but I mean, yeah, it's a TV show. It's like the one practical thing they did. Obviously, all the gunplay stuff was cool, but they're sending, their I guess this Nucci family who had all of its big like members all cut off the head of the snake by Frank still has enough influence to send like a small army worth of goons to try and take out the Punisher. But yeah, that's totally going to succeed. I actually counted in the apartment complex alone before he goes outside. How many guys do you think he takes? Do you think he takes out? I went back and I
Uh
counted
uh
all inside the two apartment buildings, the two apartments.
17.
Really close. It's 16. I actually really, really close. I didn't think you were going to be as spot on with that, but when that last few bit comes in and the one guy comes in with just like a bomb at the end and he puts the
Yeah.
bookcase down, I'm like, okay, this is probably the end of it. And then he goes outside and it's like, oh no, they're just harassing everyone here for some reason. They're even though they know exactly where he is, let's just cause chaos across the whole apartment complex. Why not? So it was it was cool action, man, but it felt like that was the only reason we were here, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like if the whole point was to sort of just like reestablish his backstory for like new casuals that
I guess
maybe
mission
just
accomplished.
that well is it though because my question is like the information that they gave you about his story was like not it was like enough but not enough. It was
Hmm.
like it felt like they were giving you a little bit but there was still information left out that like I felt like I had to watch the show to understand. So like
Yeah.
that's what I don't get is it's like it was a little bit of information and backstory but not enough to like even answer the questions. Like
Yeah, and it almost and I will say this, um, since this was a special, it may not have hurt if they would have added maybe another 20 minutes of actual character development in this to kind of explain that out. But then I actually think this might have been worse if they did that, if it was just exposition and then this. But I don't know,
yeah.
maybe it would have been better because this would have felt like a complete arc rather than like just a sliver like in the day of the life. That's what this felt like to me.
Well, because like there's the whole thing like there was the whole thing with where he was like seeing his soldiers and then you're like okay were these people like but did this information come out in the show like
At one
did
point you
was
see Karen.
yeah and then you see Karen of which I don't know if like in the new Disney stuff they've really fleshed out the dynamic between him and Karen super well to like answer the question
Yeah,
like
where
like
Karen
there was a conversation between Karen and Heather in Daredevil, but it's just like
mhm.
I don't know if that's fully been like discussed
There was a
in the
kinship a
Disney
little
Plus
bit
stuff.
between Karen and Frank. There was, and it's hinted at in this, and if anything, obviously it was felt more on Frank's end than Karen's end. But she's
Right. No,
sympathetic
exactly.
because she
Yeah.
took his case and stuff, like all the stuff from Daredevil season 2. So, yeah, I mean, there was enough there for the bits and pieces, but I agree, there wasn't enough fleshed out there. So, I mean, maybe this is a situation where if we'd watched the show, it all would have made sense to us, but I still don't feel like he went. It still didn't feel like anything other than like a reestablishment of his character. That's what it was. So
Yeah. Right. Which,
is what it is.
yeah.
We'll see him again in Spider-Man: Brand New Day. Do you want to rate this up?
Sure. Sure.
So obviously bronze, silver, gold, vibranium, and adamantium. Where does this land for you? The Punisher,
I
one last
I
kill.
I will probably, I guess, um, I want to give it bronze. I do. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna give it bronze. Although
Mm-hmm.
I was leaning towards giving it silver, just because that like apartment building sequence was actually really cool, and that
Mm-hmm.
was at least fun to watch. But I think I give it bronze on principle of just the fact of I don't get why it's a thing. Like I don't understand if it's even justified existing.
I will be a little bit lighter on it, and I will give it a silver, but I can't go any higher than that. Silver, just because I like John Barenthal. As all of the Marvel casting's really good. John Barenthal's no different. He's awesome as Frank Castle, just who they've established and everything. And while it's cool to see him in bits of stuff here again, I can't help but walk away and feel like this whole thing could have been like a YouTube video. You know what I mean? Like a
Mhm.
YouTube special of just this action sequence. Like, oh, what's Frank up to? Well, he's doing this stuff.
Well, but that's kind of so like
So
that's the
silver.
thing is he I don't have any issues with him in this. Like he did great. Like he had like that whole sequence at the grave,
I would
I
agree.
think was really a really good performance on his part. But like that my whole point is like when we see him and he's, popping pills and drinking
Hmm.
and all that stuff, I'm just like I feel like I missed something. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like because I don't know when this is set. So I'm
Yeah.
like, is this set after we see him last in Daredevil?
And
Because if it
maybe,
is, what happened? Like
maybe to
because
put
when
a,
we left
go
off,
ahead.
he was not here. Like he was not in this place the last time we saw him. So I don't get what happened. Like I don't
Well,
understand it.
well, here's the thing. I think they imply. I mean, obviously, he was in pretty rough shape at the beginning of a Daredevil season, Daredevil Born Again season 1, if you recall. It just kind of implied that if he's not Punisher, he self destructs with his own grief. And I don't know when he is Punisher, it's kind of his purpose kind of thing. So that's me trying to kind of fill in the gaps a little bit with that. But I agree with you. Again, there's not enough here, and I don't know wherever they're going to take the Punisher in the future. I just hope it's worth whatever this was. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
on this alone, can't give it any more than a silver. And I appreciate that you gave it bronze because I even dabbled with that yesterday. Because like I said, around the end of that fight scene, I was like, okay, like if nothing really meaningful comes out of this other than that he's just back out as the Punisher, and that's what happened. So, well, is that all we got on the Punisher?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool, because we are recording this on a Sunday, and there is a game 7 that will have taken place by the
Yeah.
time this episode goes out, my friend. And that game 7,
Unfortunately.
yes, yeah, well, unfortunately, could be fortunately. Uh, Worth talking about the NBA, of course. The Western Conference Final is set. Thunder and Spurs, much like we thought it was going to be. Thunder taking care of LeBron and the Lakers in 4 games. Timberwolves really weren't much of a match for the Spurs. Really looks like Wemby's rolling. And then Pistons Cavs has been a very interesting series. Knicks took care of the Sixers. So how about it, man? This is the one game 7. I think is this the one game 7? No, 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 no. It's like the third game 7 we've had in the whole playoffs. But it's the
Yeah.
only game 7 we've had this deep into the playoffs so far. You can talk about the Cavs'
Yeah.
chances. The game will already have been decided, but you can
I
talk about.
yeah, I
I would talk about the sequence from either win or loss.
yeah. So it like there it I sat on here last time and I was talking about how I didn't love some of the things the Cavs were doing and I didn't and I was not feeling super confident and then the Cavs ended up, you know, taking the lead in the series
Hmm.
and then all they had to do was close it out at home and they couldn't get that done. In a pretty embarrassing fashion.
Much like you
And
predicted.
Well, yeah, I mean, because that's kind of how it goes. Is like they're either like insane and they look awesome, or they're bad. I don't like I said, in that game six, Harden had 8 turnovers. So it's just
You did.
I don't get it. He had 8 turnovers. I Donovan Mitchell was 2 for 6 from three. So it's just like it's just sometimes like nothing goes right. I mean, well, along with the fact of like the Cavs had what was it? I think 19 total points off the bench, and so it's just it is what it is. I mean, and so I think obviously the key is to be better uh, at taking care of the ball and not turning it over as much. Be a bit more efficient, which is always easier said than done. But I think they tend to get in these situations where it's just like it starts to fall apart, and then they just don't know what to do, and they just all collapse. Like
Well, game seven,
it's
anything could happen. I'm leaning Pistons simply because they're the home team. But the last
and they have been the better team pretty much all season. So
they have, and but I will say, we can talk about that side of things, like who do we think is going to emerge based on who wins? Because either way, winner gets the Knicks.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say I mean I want to say I think whoever wins goes to the finals.
Mm.
I mean the Knicks have looked good. I mean there's no doubt about that. But I mean I think the Pistons can probably handle them. And
Jalen
if I don't know, I mean
Jalen Brunson is the greatest closer in
I
New York since Mariano Rivera.
uh, it's tough because it's like I don't know. I mean I think okay I think I take that back. As much as it pains me to say this
Mm-mm.
as a Cavs fan, I think if Detroit wins, they go to the finals. If the Cavs win, they lose to the Knicks.
See, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I absolutely
Because
think I
because
think the Knicks are
I
good
have
enough. Go ahead.
I have been on record for the last several seasons talking about how somehow the Knicks are just like Cavs slayers. I don't get it.
They
Like
are.
we don't match up well with the Knicks. I think the Pistons do. I think that the style the Pistons play is similar to the Knicks, and that's why the
Mm.
Cavs have such a hard time with them. And so I think yeah, I think the Pistons. I think if the Pistons win tonight, then they can beat the Knicks probably in at least six, um, and then go to the finals.
And I'll give Cavs if they win tonight. I think that series goes at least six against the Knicks, but I think the Knicks win.
Yeah,
Um, on the other side, I mean, I think the Western Conference Finals could be a seven-game classic. To be completely honest with you, I don't know who's going to win that, but my dream matchup would be like Wemby versus like the Knicks. I just think that it's going to be a fun finals, no matter who it is. I really believe it. I just don't want the Thunder to
yeah,
win back to back.
yeah. I mean, Yeah, like Spurs Thunder is such a throwback like series matchup. It's like, is
It
this
is.
2016? Like this is awesome. Um, I yeah, it feels like we'd be have like Kawhi and KD and Westbrook out there, but um yeah, I think that could be a really fun series. I mean, and much akin to the way it's always been with the West versus East. I Whoever wins that is winning the finals. I mean, I think pretty safe to say, in my personal opinion.
That's
Um,
probably the case, I believe, as well.
so
Especially if that game goes, if that series goes all seven, which I really think it could. I could see that being a situation where whoever emerges out of that dogfight wins that next series in like 5 or 6. Like
Yeah, well,
I could see that just being
I think if it goes
a
seven,
run right in.
I think they lose game one, and then they end up winning four in a row.
Then do the reverse sweep.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
just because they're gassed from the last
yeah,
series.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've seen that happen before too. Yeah, for sure. It's interesting though, Kason, because you also still have your hockey team in in it too. This is very interesting because
we
this is very
we
interesting
oh god.
because you still have a rooting interest since our last show in both of these playoffs.
Yeah,
And go ahead.
we beat the Ducks, but what did it cost us? A second round pick.
Mm,
And it cost Torts $100,000. But um, yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I haven't seen any explanation on anyone's part over what happened. But if you didn't see, apparently after Vegas beat the Anaheim Ducks, they like refused media availability, of which apparently justified the league revoking their second round pick in the draft. I think next year, not this next year. I think.
yeah,
Which
I didn't even know that that was possible. But
I
like,
did. I could understand like a sixth round, like a second round pick,
yeah,
like that. That's a dude who plays. Like
yeah.
that's crazy.
Well, hopefully
Like,
that's a guy who plays.
well, like that's a guy who's probably going to get called up soon. Like,
Yes,
yeah,
you usually, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's probably one of those situations where these rules do exist in like the league bylaws. If you refuse, like there's got to be consequences if you refuse media availability in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like,
yeah.
yeah, like you can't just do that. And I was curious, did the Knights say why or offer?
I no, I that's the point. I have seen
I
no
haven't seen
explanation
anything, any follow
as to
up
why.
about that.
Like
Like,
I of which I was so confused
really weird.
because I like at least it would make sense if they lost and he was mad, but like they won. So
They won. They're right. They
like,
won.
like
Very
I don't
bizarre.
I don't know if they just immediately went to the locker room and were just chugging beers. I don't get
I
it. Like
mean,
I don't I it's also objectively hilarious
it is funny.
that Torts is kind of like on a rental like I think his contract is just the end of the season. And so it's like
And then,
you are a rental coach and you just cost them a draft pick in the draft.
yeah, and they just did
I
it.
don't get it.
I don't know. Maybe he's just a
Like
genius, and they're playing a he's
it's
playing a long game here.
it's the most John Tortorella thing I've ever seen.
It is.
Like costing your team a draft pick because you just don't want to talk to the media is
That being said, I want to talk about the other side because the Carolina Hurricanes did sweep the Flyers, as I thought they would.
yeah.
They have been an absolute wagon, and despite the layoff here that they've had, while Buffalo and Montreal have gone all the way to the wire, Game 7,
Yeah.
I'm just going to double check this. Game 7 is scheduled for Monday night, so
Yeah.
tonight by the time this show goes out. So I'll definitely be checking that out because I think you're going to have a situation here where I think Carolina's better than both of those teams. But again, the layoff, they've been sitting around here
Yeah.
in hockey, it's not usually as big of a deal as it is like in baseball. When the weather gets cold, where there's a layoff. But this one's been such a long one
I,
that. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I think hockey it's a bit more like finicky where it really like if you get a couple extra days, that's a really big benefit. But
Hmm.
if you get a lot more time, then like you end up maybe having a little more jello. Like you kind of get like we've seen it before a lot of times both ways, and it's just it really depends. I mean, I could absolutely see a situation to where I don't know, let's say Buffalo ends up winning tomorrow
Hmm.
night and then they end up going against the Hurricanes and I don't know, winning by 5. Like I could absolutely see that.
Yeah, they
Like
like blow them out in game 1. Well,
yeah.
maybe it'll be what you said, like in the other series, where it's like they lose the first one, and then Carolina's like, oh, okay,
It's entire like it the sports media debate of rest versus rust is a tale as old as time. I mean,
I will say this. I agree with that. I agree with that. And you can't simulate games. Like regardless of what it is across sports, the intensity of playing at your full strength, you can't simulate games. And so that's fascinating to me. I will say this. I love the storyline regardless of who makes it through here because I don't much care for Montreal, but Buffalo I'm very much pulling for. I'm rooting for Carolina too because I'm rooting for Jordan Stahl to get one more cup before he, retires as the long Stahl brother. Like, the lone Stahl brother left, I believe, in the NHL as a player. And then, of course, Cale Makar. I've always liked him, and the Avalanche are balling like they want to get back and like party like it's 2022 again. I mean, I generally have nothing against or for your squad other than, hey, if they win, Casen will be happy. Um, as the only team who seemingly wants to win a championship of ours since we've had this show, the Vegas Golden Knights. And that includes the Cavs, man. Like Cavs have been there the whole time. Like
Yeah.
no one
Well,
wants to win other than them, I guess.
yeah,
And then
I
and that yeah, so and then of course Buffalo has been a great story this whole playoff. So um, shaping up for two really good ends of both of these tournaments. What were you going to say?
well, I just pulled it up. So the Knights go to Colorado Wednesday. Game one of that is Wednesday.
Got it.
And I was just looking at it, and uh the Avalanche finished the season 55-16-11, and the Golden Knights finished the season 39-26-17. Um,
What was the point difference?
121 to 95. So
That's more
I
points than I
mean,
thought. Yeah,
yeah, so it is what it is. Um, I as a Vegas fan, I hate playing the Avalanche. I hate it so much. And so I would imagine I would imagine Colorado is going to win this series. So
like
as
I said,
annoying as that is,
maybe Tortorella's a genius and he's going to
but
somehow, yeah,
yeah, I mean, there has been a bit of a rejuvenation, I guess, with the coaching change. So
they're going to
we'll
say
see.
they're going to say take our second round pick next year, eh? We'll just go ahead
I
and win the whole thing.
look. All I know is that maybe this was some big brain chess move from Torts, and he cost them the draft pick to create an us against the world mentality in the locker room
Mm-hmm.
of they hate us and it's the world against us.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all of us in this room against the world.
Truly.
And so hey, if that's what it takes to win another cup, then so be
Which
it.
for whatever reason, seemingly since that franchise's inception, whether it be through the first draft where they got all those misfits to come in and they were incredible, to unfortunately the tragedy that befell Vegas, to now just their mentality as they've really kind of structured and gotten like a nucleus together. It's like that's been their mentality the entire time they've existed. Like
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
against the world, Vegas Golden Knights. Like they're the
Yeah.
most likable team ever. If you never had a hockey team before,
Yeah.
I gotta give them that. I gotta give them that. Like if you're from Vegas or have ties to Vegas like you and never had a team before, I'm like this is like the most likable franchise that I could have gotten behind ever, and I like it for all the new Vegas fans, new hockey fans. So go Knights. We'll see what happens. Go all your
Hmm.
teams, but that's where things sit. I think it's draft time, Kason, and this is
Yeah.
this is going to be fun. So
Speaking of, that's a good segue into getting what the draft is.
it is getting yes. So here's where this came from. So my idea was, I feel like it would be fun to sit on here and talk for the 100th episode about stuff we can't stand, stuff that makes us angry, stuff that like the icons and stuff in both popular culture and sports that just grinds our gears that we can't stand. And with a little help of like say I had a brainstorming idea, added a couple of ideas of my own, and then through the help of Claude AI, kind of like putting it all together. We are going to present to everyone here. This is the first time we've done a draft on this show. It is the most hated but respectable draft. And I have under here villains, rival athletes, celebrities, and teams. Our most hated of those. And I got to tell you, Kason and I have not seen each other's list, okay? But because it's gonna be way funnier to talk about the things we don't like
Yeah,
on here.
yeah.
But
Well, because we're drafting and so we can steal them from each other. Yeah.
exactly, we are drafting, and I don't know what our like overlap is gonna be for this, but literally, I'm just sitting over here. I was like, oh, I got to get this out, so I write down what you pick, so I don't lose that. It's one way I'll do it. But there was another part of this as well. I said we should do 5 rounds, and then I am going to read off the rest of the stuff I put on this list to briefly talk about the other things that grind my gears
Okay, yeah, 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 yeah.
or annoy me because I
So
think it would
yeah,
still be
so
fun to do that.
no, absolutely, yeah. So after the draft, we'll go through our rest of the list. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Do you want to start first round?
I will start 1-1 if you're ceding the pick to me.
1-1. I'll give you it.
All right,
I came up
all
with the
right,
idea. It's only
all right,
fair that
all right.
lead off.
1-1. The number one overall draft pick in this draft, very much unlike his own draft,
Um,
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady.
he's like top of my list. Thank you so much. Great
So
minds think
so
alike.
my understanding is like these are dudes or people or whatever that we hate because they're so good at what they do.
It's most hated but respectable draft is what this is.
Yes, like
And you can use any means of explaining said thing to justify it. Continue.
yeah, so I obviously Tom Brady, everybody gets it. I not a Patriots fan. You hate him. He's
Hmm.
the bane of your existence. But I mean, he still has won all those Super Bowls. And in my opinion, since leaving New England and since we've seen the Bill Belichick sans Tom Brady era,
Yeah,
I think his credit has only grown larger for what he did during that time period.
I would
Like
agree.
I said it before when we talked about Bill, is that like it really makes you wonder how much of the credit goes to Tom versus Bill.
I agree with that. I agree with that entirely. And I don't know. I think I even said on here one time that there's both of those guys are going to go into the Hall of Fame in due time, but there's going to be everyone who enters a room with the two of them is just going to be sitting here thinking, I don't think one happens without the other, and I think the sample size is very much getting bigger that it was Brady more than Belichick. So, yeah, bane of my existence too. Couldn't stand Tom Brady. Still can't really. Still can't stand. No, still can't. Every time I see
I
a headline with him, I
did
get angry
did you
again.
see him walking the runway at the fashion show this
Yes.
week?
Yes. Whether it was like the roast of Tom Brady or this or the other, anytime I see his name in a headline, I get angry all over again, like 8-year-old me was watching. Not to mention my team. This is a transition moment. You know what I'm going to take number 2 overall in the most hated but respectable draft, and this is relevant even to today. This is something we won't get into. The New England Patriots as an organization, they're my number 2. Yeah, yeah, they're my pick for the second overall pick in this draft of things we can't stand. Mainly because this team, like, take what you will about everything else going on with them right now or elsewise. Last year they somehow get to the Super Bowl again. It's like and I will say this: last year's Patriots team, as we've talked about, one of the worst teams to ever go to the Super Bowl, which is ironic because that franchise now has 2 of those teams. If you argue the team that went in and got just stomped on by the Bears
Yeah.
in '85, somehow found a way to take out Marino's Dolphins. But yeah, I didn't know because you picked Brady overall. I'm gonna pick the bane of the existence that has been an annoying franchise at all eras I've known them in life.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, wait, you guys are supposed to be
I think
bad.
that yeah, yeah. I think that includes the fans of the organization.
Yes,
Yeah.
just Boston in general. The fact that just they have a very unlikable ownership, but like they're respectable because how are they always good? Like what is this? And I think even more frustrating is listen, you're a sometimes Browns fan. As a Steelers fan, it's like the Saban effect. As good as this franchise used to be over my right shoulder, how is it that we can't be that? and they've just been incredible my whole life. And they cheated a
Hmm.
few times to beat my team, so that's
Yeah.
another thing
Yeah.
too. Yeah. So, listen, yeah, I'm getting annoyed and angry again.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Snake draft. You're number two.
Oh, we're doing that. Okay. Well, okay. There are. Oh man, this is interesting. Didn't expect to be on the spot again. See, I could. Oh, man, I could go a couple directions with this, but my number three in this most hated but respectable draft is gonna be. This is gonna probably make you chuckle. It's another individual for me. Um, Robert Nutting, owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I don't. Why? Why is he on your respectable list?
Okay, yeah. So I was thinking about this, and I was like, listen. Here's the thing. As much as we've talked about him, and as Pirates fans have talked about him, Bob Nutting being the owner of the team, the Pirates would have never been good again out of McClatchy if he hadn't come in and built the Pirate City training facility down in Bradenton, and he was responsible for the hires of Neil Huntington and now Ben Sherrington that have that made the 13, 14, 15, 16 era Buccos pretty good, and drafted this current nucleus, which has showed so far this year that there could be something brewing here. So it's one of those things where it's like, listen, I have to respect the good that's been done under the ownership while also hating the majority of what's happened during the ownership.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
And
fair.
and to
That's
me,
fair.
that's more fun than like rattling off another team here that I don't like. So
Okay.
we'll get there.
That's
We'll
fair.
we'll
That's
get
fair.
there. And if I'm doing a snake draft, I'm like, well, okay, we'll go Patriots and then I'll go Bob Nutting. There you go.
Okay.
Back to back for you now.
All right. So okay. I'm gonna stick to sports for my next one,
Okay.
and then leave sports for my other one. So
All right.
first, the number four overall, my second, uh, Nick Saban.
Mm.
I very much akin to Tom Brady. If you're not a fan of any team that Nick Saban has coached, then you absolutely despise him. Along with I mean, we have numerous reasons to hate him. I mean, he was, at Michigan State. He was at Toledo.
He
He
was at
was, I mean,
Toledo. Yeah.
there's many reasons to hate him, not just the Bama days. But yeah, so I think along with the fact that he's one of those dudes that like is way too full of himself as he's like entered the coaching goat ranks. He's
Yeah.
like become like a caricature of himself.
I was going to
Like,
ask you, has your opinion of him changed at all since he's been on College Game Day? Because I've heard people say, yeah, it's worse now.
yeah, well,
I've never hated him, so
I
I've been like,
mean,
yeah, he's fine.
I can tolerate like his personality on game day, but
Hmm.
I don't like him. I mean, I mean that's I guess where the respectable part got. Like, I respect him because he seems like he's genuinely probably like an okay dude,
Hmm.
like to be
Oh,
around.
absolutely, absolutely.
But like he's a frustratingly like he's a frustrating coach that like somehow won all these BCS titles. I still kind of maintain that I think if there was a playoff back in those days, they wouldn't have all those titles, if you know what I mean. But
I know what you mean. It definitely begs that
he
question.
he, he benefited from an era where the only people cheating was him. Like,
Well,
that's
and
what it was.
obviously he won the one title at LSU and then won what, like eight at Alabama? I don't know,
Uh,
seven, eight or seven,
went
whatever.
probably went to eight. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Went to eight, went to nine or whatever. Very good pick, I will say. I will add that like I don't feel the same way about Nick Saban, but I was also never really on the receiving end of any of the teams that he like, beat, so to speak. So so I
I
get it.
I definitely so like I definitely hate Dabo way more,
That's kind of what I
but
was thinking. Like, are we
but I don't respect him at all. So he can't
mm,
be on this list.
mm.
Like I respect Nick Saban because I know he's genuinely a good coach and I know that like he probably is a good guy. It's just you hate to see him get, across the field from you. Like,
Yeah, and if anything, I think you and I have kind of both talked to each other and others about how Dabo, you could say it's kind of eroded since we've hit this new era. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think, like,
like
I think,
Dabo
yeah.
He's not as good of a coach as he used to be.
I think Saban like would have adjusted if he wanted to keep going in this new era because people would have wanted to do it. He probably would have definitely had some shine taken off.
If it was 20 years ago, yeah, it's just now he's like, I'm not doing. He was
He's
like,
not
I
dealing
don't
with
want
it.
to. He was like, no, yeah,
The second he didn't have to do anything, he's like, plus I'll just be on game day. So I like him on game day, but he does at times come off as
yeah,
like, hey, I know way more than everybody else, but also he does like know more than a lot
yeah.
of folks in terms of the X's
He's
and O's. So
yeah, like once the NIL thing happened, and he's like, wait, I can't just get all these recruits from sticking a paper bag full of cash in a Tuscaloosa Ford rental car. Then then
all
then
right.
I don't know.
I'm that's awesome. All
Okay.
right. All right.
Anyway, all right. So my next pick uh
Number
was
five.
what is this? My
This is fifth overall. I'm
my
tracking the
third,
numbers.
yeah, my third, fifth overall.
Hmm.
I'm going to be switching it up. Switching it up, all
That's
right?
fine. That's
We're
fine.
we're going we're going with the fictional character Thanos.
Oh, okay. That's
All
awesome.
right. All right. And with the say what you want about Thanos, but he was just trying to help people.
Dude, he stood
He
on
was
bus
he was
he
he was
stood
he
on
was
business the whole
he
time.
was he his main motivating factor was helping people with depleting resources.
Mm.
He wanted to kill half the universe to do it, but he was trying to help people.
But he also was pointing out an actual real issue that
That
populations could
precisely.
definitely face. Oh wow.
Precisely.
Wow, yeah. The Mad Titan himself. I would argue that Thanos is good for this list whether you take the MCU version of him or the comic version of him. Because in the comic version of him, he did what he was doing because he was trying to quote court death, who they actually went and made a real character even in the MCU, of course, with Rio and stuff. That was
Mhm.
one of the cooler things they did. That's good. That's really good. I no notes. I will say no notes for me other than I'll add like I really love Infinity War is a lot of people's still favorite Avengers film. If you watch that movie from the perspective of Thanos being the hero trying to take out all of these other people, it works. And since there's test screenings are saying that Doomsday could be a lot like that movie, like everyone's comparing it to that movie, we might have a lot of talk about Thanos here again, like here in the next coming months, just as we get closer,
Mhm.
because it's like, hey, are we going to compare it to that? Are we going to like Doom's trying to do stuff and he's taking out all these Avengers across multiverse and stuff? So good stuff, good stuff. Well, because you did that, I, oh man, I could take this two different directions. Numbers, this is gonna get a rise out of you. All right, I have to explain this one. Um, Number six in my one, two, three. This is my third most hated but respectable things. I'm throwing a whole franchise onto this list. Do you know where I'm going with this?
Uh-huh.
The Star Wars franchise, specifically under Disney.
Mhm.
I'm not counting anything pre just when it was George Lucas in the squad or anything. I was like, oh, can I put it in me to put the whole Star Wars franchise on this? No, no. I hate what Disney has done to the Star Wars franchise, but I respect their willingness to try and go out of the way to tell new stories. The stuff they're throwing at the wall, the stuff that has worked, like Andor, there's been good. There's been stuff that is mediocre, but you claim is good, like Ahsoka. There's been downright moments of hilarity, like the Acolyte. It's been mostly not, it's it's been mostly not good though, and my
Yeah.
hatred comes from a place of love and wanting them to do better. Um, I just maybe now that can happen, but yeah, I was like, man, I could take this some directions, but I need to hear Kaysen's take on that.
No, I mean I'm with you. I mean that 100%. Yeah. I mean, yeah, so I mean you can probably just put Disney Lucasfilm on there if you want to include the Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make a note and literally say Disney Lucasfilm in general.
Yeah.
But on a serious note, that just goes to show the greatness of George Lucas in general. I mean, truly, I never said this to you on this cast, but it needs to be said on here. I've said before that like folks like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and those guys like Steve Ditko back in the initial Marvel Comics days, Bill Finger, same, and Bob Kane, the guys who created Batman, like their work is Shakespearean in that, hundreds of years, thousands of years, people will still be telling their stories. I would say that about George Lucas.
I okay. What I will say, I'm not trying to discredit anything about what George did,
Hmm.
because George definitely created the universe and he had all these crazy ideas. We, I think what a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of the magic of A New Hope and that first trilogy was because there were some other people helping him at the time
True.
making those movies that sort of sanded down his ideas,
Mm.
because we saw what happened when he had full creative control, and then you get Jar Jar Binks. So
You do.
I think what a lot of people don't know is that the first cut of A New Hope didn't make any sense and it was so bad, and his wife at the time helped it hit her and one of the other
That's true.
producers
That's right. They kind of,
recut the movie and like completely reordered some of the stuff in the sequencing and made it the movie it is.
mhm.
And so
They like re-storyboarded it. They
yeah,
rewrote a
yeah.
couple scenes. Yeah, like yeah.
And so there were a lot of other people involved in the original trilogy that sort of helped rein him in and explain what he was trying to get done.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I'm with you in the fact that like he created the universe. It was his whole idea. And like I said, I think I said it last time in the last show, was that he had this whole plan for like a 12 episode opera that had all these different storylines involved, and all this different lore, and he did do that.
He did. So it's still me, by the way. And officially we'll go to 10 because that'll be five for each of us.
Yeah, yeah,
So I am gonna pull it back in the sports direction for this next one. We can't not draft this team, you and I. We can't not draft this team. That is the Baltimore Ravens. And I say that with the Baltimore Orioles hat on my head.
yeah.
Listen, from their very inception to how they got to be a franchise to their thorn in the side of both of our teams since that happened, to the fact that I know someone where I currently live now who straight up counts as a fan that they jacked from Cleveland because he's like, nah, I'm just gonna keep rooting for that team, like which is crazy to me. I didn't think those people existed. I
I
didn't think those
Wow,
people existed. Yeah,
wow,
yeah. I didn't think
wow.
that was even
You're
possible.
you're from Cleveland. You're like, all right, I'll just keep going. I
I mean,
mean, all right.
to be fair, this person is from Canton, but still, like, I mean, it's still the Cleveland. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
20 miles down the road.
It's actually kind of insane when this particular person makes the case. But whatever, people, I'm not going to go into like the details and stuff, but the hatred of the Art Modell and everything that went into the movement of the Browns, truly one of the most disgraceful things that ever happened in American sports. And ironically, Baltimore also lost their franchise in another one of the most disgraceful acts in American
Yeah.
sports. So, yeah, between that and these owners and all that other stuff, the Baltimore Ravens are my pick at number seven.
I
And that's beef from you and I.
Well, okay, so I think we might have approached this whole thing a little bit differently, because I didn't put them on my list because I don't respect them as a franchise.
See, I have to respect them because they're our arch rival. See, that's where that comes from. There's a mutual respect, and that's the thing. Like, at no point it's been weird because they have a tremendous amount of respect for each other, the Steelers and Ravens. But we definitely saw this a little differently. But I have to put that team down.
That's fair. That's fair. I
That's
mean,
for me as a
although
Steeler fan.
although
It was my
granted
pick, not your pick.
granted, I there is sort of I mean, I think we did sort of approach it similarly. I just don't see them the same way, because my next pick
Okay,
is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
there it is.
Because for a similar thing of like, I respect them being such a consistently competitive franchise for such a long time, but I still hate playing them ever.
Oh yeah. What are the Browns if not the nail to the Steelers' hammer? I mean, that is at least what this Browns team is. Again, the odd history of all three of those franchises and just what happened with all of that, not to mention the inception of whatever the heck is going on in Cincy at any given time.
Hmm.
But yeah, because we
Hmm.
know what's going on in the other places. But I think that right there also is just the beauty of the AFC North rivalries. Like you're like, well, I would have put the Steelers on there because I respect them. I don't respect the Ravens. Like, well, I have to respect the Ravens, and we know the Steelers are both hateable and respectable. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
even by their own fans. That's why I'm okay with that because the Steelers have probably made me more mad than any team that I root for over the last 3 years. So yeah.
Uh,
So I
okay,
guess so
so
you would have nine and then I have 10.
that's yeah. So that's my fourth pick. So then my last pick. Oh, God, I've got uh, several good options here.
Which one do you want to put on this ultimate list? And then we'll talk about the other ones. We'll talk about the other ones.
Yeah. All right. I think the only one left that's like relevant, which is I gotta go A-Rod as my last pick.
Now hang on, A Rod. Which A Rod?
The A-Rod, A-Rod. What do you mean?
You mean
Oh, oh, yeah. Alex Rodriguez. Yeah.
there we go. Okay, you
Yeah.
get say the name, the full name.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You,
Okay.
you think I was talking about Aaron Rodgers?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you say A
Well,
Rod, that can mean different things to different people. A lot of people don't like him
well,
either.
okay. Well, similarly, I don't respect him either. So he's not on my
That's
list.
fair. That's
But
fair.
there's a lot of people that I hate that I don't
No,
respect.
but this is interesting because
But
it's funny. Like when I was in high school and truly like middle school, high school, he was easily the most hated person in sports, like in American sports.
exactly. Yeah.
Even more so than Brady because like he never made any good headline off the field for anything good. Sports Center wouldn't shut up about him and Jeter all the time because when he went to the Yankees, it was always like a weird relationship they had, and if they lost, they always showed that Jeter like those two guys couldn't stand each other when they actually played together. Now they
Yeah.
seem to be friends now. I'm like, yeah, because like, all that's in the past. But um, I love that pick for a lot of reasons. But continue.
Yeah. So I mean, much like you said, I mean, I was deciding between A-Rod and Jeter, and I was like, I definitely hate A-Rod way more than Jeter. um, because like it's kind of the same thing I said with Saban, where it's just like when A-Rod like acts like he's A-Rod, he's so insufferable, and you're like, oh, dude, just shut up.
Oh yeah.
But like at the same time, he's still A-Rod, so it's like, okay, like,
Yeah. It's like when him and J Lo got back together, it didn't work out again, and everyone knew it was his fault. And
yeah,
it's like, well, yeah, but interpersonal relationships aside, I am gonna be curious to see what happens with him because I mean, is he probably another guy who's not getting in because of steroids? I mean, I would guess so.
yeah, probably.
I mean, he's because without the whole, ties to potentially the whole sting that they did, he's a slam dunk Hall of Famer. But is he another one of those guys like Bonds and the guys who are just not going to get in because steroid era?
Well,
I don't know.
well, what he was suspended for like a whole season, right? Like that was like a
Yeah, he
whole
was just
season.
yeah, he got popped for I
So
want to say most, if not a whole season. And then
so
when he
I don't I
yeah,
don't I don't think like knowing how weird the baseball writers are and stuff, I
hmm
don't think any of them could justify voting in somebody who was suspended an entire season for
like
steroid.
like the rule like knew the rules and still got popped for it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Like there's a whole thing when you're talking about like the like the Mark McGuire era when it was like kind of
yeah.
not really a rule and tested. But like when you're talking about now, like then when they were tested, when it was like a clear rule, like most of those writers are never going to respect him enough as like a true baseball legend for that,
Well,
in
and
my
that,
opinion. But
well, and
maybe
that
eventually when all those old heads go away, but
See, that's what
like,
I was thinking. But the interesting thing about the Baseball Writers Association, I say this as not the biggest modicum of knowledge about them. A lot of even the younger guys think like the older guys do. You know what I mean? In terms of the integrity of the game and stuff. It's just
mhm,
one of those things that's remained consistent about baseball. Like, I don't think I agree with you that that's the best chance that like the steroid era guys have, but I don't think that we'll see that until like I'm sorry to say it, but until they passed away. Like those guys are long gone and we're long
mhm.
past like into a new era of baseball to where it's like, they're not going to get their flowers in any way. Like it's sort of like how by today's standards, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. Like 100% should be in the Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
When you look at his crime versus what the world we live in today is, the integrity of the game kind of thing, I get it. But like Pete Rose should absolutely, even posthumously, be in the Hall of Fame. And that's the whole thing of like trying to, grasp what that whole thing of what is considered. We talked about that when he passed away. What's considered integrity wise, but like A-Rod's young enough to where it's like, yeah, no one our age, no one even 10 years older than me is gonna or younger than me is gonna be like, oh yeah, he should be in there. Like, no, he cheated. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow. Alex Rodriguez. That is not someone I thought was gonna make it on here today. But there's a few different ways I could go for this last one. But I wanted to do one. See, See, I want to go in a certain different directions with this, but also you have given me an interesting thing to think about as far as the respectable one. But I do have one. This would be number 10, and this would be my fifth one. I could go a couple different directions, but I think that being that you and I are BG grads, I got to put the Toledo Rockets on here.
Okay.
Um, and here's where I'm going with that. I had to watch that squad beat a lot of Bowling Green teams a lot more. And I want to say in my time at
Yeah.
because I could have gone the other way too. Because another team I have on here, and we're going to talk about our honorable mentions anyway. I can talk about them, but the Miami Ohio Redhawks. But that's
Hmm.
also more of like a recency kind of thing. I think though that you and I just solely based on our upbringing and the fact that you're decked out in BG stuff, I got the Bowling Green behind me as well. You got to respect your rival. Like I'm happy that the rivalry exists with them. I respect a
Yeah.
rival that's going to point a missile at my stadium,
Yeah.
which every new Toledo coach, like especially football coach and ADs and stuff, of which they've just had a switch around over there. Uh, new folks getting new jobs and stuff. They always take the picture in front of that rocket that's pointed at the Doit. I'm like, listen, as my regional rival who I cannot stand, but also I respect all the times, especially the in the midst of the 9 years that we lost to them straight in football, that you kind of came into college during, and I was like in the middle of that whole time where we had Kareem Hunt like rushing for 300 yards against us every time we played him. I always said like, Kareem Hunt went to Toledo. It's like, oh yeah, really? It's like, yeah, he played against your college team. I'm like, yep, he ate our breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert
Yep.
every time he
Yep.
every time he
Yep.
played us, every single time.
Yep.
He was as good
I'll
as advertised.
I'll still never forget, like, it was, I think, it was a 2015 game
Hmm.
when Toledo was in town, and it was like the second play of the game. It was like a pick six. It was like I was like because we ended up going on winning the MAC championship that year, but we
Yeah.
were like, all right, we're gonna, like, this is our best chance to win in a long time. Like, let's do it. And like immediately we're just like, okay, well, all
Well,
right.
I remember that because by the end of the third quarter, it was 21 to nothing Toledo, and it was like, why is it that we just don't? Why is it that we fall apart against this team? Now, I will say it is kind of cool in 10 years to see how it's now going the other way. Like
Yeah.
Toledo's been contending and all that stuff, but suddenly they can't beat the Falcons, and that just goes to show it ebbs and flows in the MAC. Um, it's one of those situations where I joke about the teams across the conference that like how I feel about them or how I feel about that, but at the end of the day, that's one of the three best rivalries in the Midwest, but also in the conference. The other ones, Toledo BG, the other ones being Central Michigan and Western Michigan, and of course the Battle of the Bricks, Ohio and Miami. Um, I joked with someone at work who was who was an OU grad recently, and I was like, I don't know, man. I think I've gotten the reputation of being quite the hater of Miami, and this particular person was like, trust me, I went to Ohio. You could not more than me, and I was like, that's fair. He's like, I wouldn't claim to sit here and say that about Toledo over you. I'm like, that's fair as well. So that's a really good list. That's a wow. We really shared a lot of the pain here. So
Yeah.
just going just going down the list. Tom Brady, the New England Patriots, Bob Nutting, uh, Nick Saban, Thanos, the Star Wars Lucasfilm under Disney Lucasfilm, the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, A-Rod, and the Toledo Rockets. Wow. 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 Do you want to talk about some honorable mentions?
Yeah, yeah. I'll
Mentioned
go.
one
I'll
of
go
them
down my
already.
list.
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
All
Yes.
right. So,
It's awesome.
down my list, I also have Lionel Messi.
Interesting. Okay.
Um, I also have Connor McDavid.
You hate and respect. Wait, hang on a second. Back up a second. You hate, and I get respecting. You hate Lionel Messi?
Well, yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
Just because he's messy. I don't know.
Listen. I feel like you're either a Ronaldo guy or a Messi guy. I don't have an issue with either one of them, but yeah. Okay. Connor
Uh,
McDavid, 100%
yeah, Connor
understand.
McDavid. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, the the 2015-16 Golden State Warriors.
The whole
Um,
team.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
See,
The
I
whole
thought
team.
Draymond might make it on this list.
Well, I mean, everybody on that team. Yeah, yeah.
Everyone. Yeah.
Down to Festus Ezeli. Yeah, everybody.
I love it.
Uh, and then any Lost fans out there? Benjamin Linus. Uh,
Oh, okay. That's a good one. That's a
so
really good one.
I Lost is one of like my favorite shows of all time.
Oh, Lost is
I've
great.
seen it like 5 times. And he's such a cool character, written super well that like you hate him because he's evil, but then there's also all these things that like kind of you get why he is the way he is. And so yeah, but anyway, that's my list.
So I wanted to talk about that real quick just because that is a deep cut. So Ben Linus is played by Michael Emerson, who has
Yeah.
become a very solid actor of that kind of character across other franchises. He was actually in season one of Fallout, where he
Yep.
played kind of a weirdo character like that again. Spoiler, he doesn't survive that season, but he's definitely sort of like that. But every time I see him, I always say Ben from Lost. Ben Linus is like Gus Fring in Breaking Bad, in that
Hmm.
like he becomes such a good antagonist, but when you learn his backstory, you realize, huh, he's justified in a lot of the stuff he's doing, or at least
Yeah.
in his brain, in his mind, he is, you know. So yes, he was one of the first characters to really have that. And as someone who also watched Lost with his mom, like from the beginning, I love Lost as well. I'm one of those people that never really had a huge issue with the end of the show, just because look, they changed the end game a bunch, but they brought it to a satisfying ending. Let me go through some of mine. I had two Marvel characters on here that we didn't talk about. I had Wilson Fisk straight up
Mm. Mm.
as a
Fair, fair,
potential
fair.
one,
Yeah.
just because
Fair.
like, and I'll tell you where it comes from. One of the things that happened here recently is that uh, my mom was going to she won't she'll it's funny I share this story. My mom was ended up watching Daredevil season 3, starting that by mistake, and had never seen it before. So she's like, "Well, this is great too." So I'm gonna watch that. I got to watching a little bit more of the later episodes of season 3 of Daredevil, and I'm like, man, I forgot just how evil Wilson Fisk was in some of these, down the stretch.
Hmm.
But like I respect him because he stands on business. He's just so scary as an entity. Like there's that scene where he goes in, he's like, "Wow, Fisk has something on all you." He's like, "Yeah," and in here we don't even say his name. We call him Kingpin. I'm like, well,
Hmm.
and of
Yeah.
course that has continued in Daredevil Born Again, so that's good. I have another deep cut on here because in every single context, this character has always been both a cross between horrible, scary, outright a thorn in the side, or at his like most tame, just ruining lives. So this is just an awful character, and that's Norman Osborn.
Hmm. Yeah.
Specifically the Green Goblin. I'm like, look,
Yeah.
I could say something like the Joker and all that stuff. I'm like, we love the Joker. Like the Joker's like the juxtaposition of Batman, like as classic. You can't have one without the other. Norman Osborn, in every context, just makes Peter Parker's life awful. From media to movies to comics I've read to other stuff I've played, more deep cut Spider-Man stories. Like in literally every context, Norman Osborn's just a horrendous character. He even has a few redemption arcs in the comic books, bro, where he completely squanders it at the end. It's like, oh, okay, you're just the worst. Got it. Not to mention they've had a really good buildup of him in the new Spider-Man games because he's a businessman. Like everything that goes wrong in the first Spider-Man game is all back to him, just being a terrible person.
Hmm.
So respect as a villain, horrible, and of course Willem Dafoe. I say no more. Willem Dafoe's portrayal of the Goblin is incredible.
Yeah.
So And then I have some teams on here. Do you want to stay a few more? Do you have any more?
I no, that was all I had.
So the only other teams I had on here were like the Philadelphia Flyers. I thought like
Mm.
if you went in a team direction, like, yeah, I can't stand them. A team I despise way more than them, the Cincinnati Reds. But it's sort of like getting into your thing. It's like, yeah, but I don't respect either of those teams. So I'm not gonna
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
really don't respect the Flyers. Like, oh, we hate the, a lot of people would have had Sidney Crosby on this list too, by the way. I'm happy that you're not one of those people. a lot
I
of
don't
people.
really have a reason to hate it. I don't I mean,
No, and I will say this: if you were a Blue Jackets fan at any point, you probably would feel about Sidney Crosby like a lot of people do. But I almost put the Washington Capitals on here because I don't really hate them anymore because that beef's kind of over. But like for a while there, I really couldn't stand them, but I
yeah.
respected them for being right there. And then they beat us and won the cup and never have won another one. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really hate Ovi or any of those guys. Like they're fine. So and then I said Ohio Redhawks. That's like a whole Miami Ohio Redhawks, of course. I have an F1 team on here, and I'll close it out with that. Hate but respect them. Red Bull Racing F1 team. If you're not
Yeah.
familiar,
Yeah.
Max
Yeah.
Verstappen's team.
Yeah.
If you've ever watched Drive to Survive or anything like that, they are definitely the villains in like every single like season
Yeah.
of that
Yeah.
show because the people in charge, at least when Max was first dominating, they're all gone now, but they're the most unlikable group of people. They treat their secondary drivers very toxically. They genuinely like did a couple things that you could argue ruined some people's lives. Like that whole toxic team, I'm like, dude, I I even made a comment. So this year, their shirts are not their traditional navy blue. It's more of like a powder blue, like it's a lighter blue. And someone said to me something along the lines of, "They don't look as evil as they usually do. They like need to go back to their dark blue where they actually look evil." And on top of that, when you consider that Max Verstappen in every single context of life is always wearing his team shirt, like he went to a gender reveal with his team shirt on. like, like that's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he just
I mean, I
he's loyal to a
definitely, yeah.
T.
I
Good.
definitely hate Max Verstappen too. Like, I
Okay, so
100%. Yeah.
a lot of people could have put
100%.
Max
Yeah.
Verstappen on here too. I
Yeah.
thought like, well, I could get a chance to talk about them, but I'm like, I don't really dislike Max at all. His team's the worst thing ever, and he's the one that's dragging them along. Like they
Yeah.
would be nothing without Max Verstappen, and there will be a
Yeah.
day when Verstappen no longer races for Red Bull. That is not now. And he's already complaining, like, oh, I might retire because I'm not winning as much. I'm like, yeah, well, because finally some other teams have figured out the formula a little bit better than you guys. So there we have it, y'all. There it is. I thought that it would be fun to just go through the ones that didn't make the list, but definitely could have. Great job, Casen.
Hmm. If you notice, there is a certain individual that I did not put on my list for my hated because I don't respect him.
Josh Allen. I almost mentioned Josh Allen when you I almost mentioned Josh Allen when you said Connor McDavid. I was almost like, oh no, Josh Allen, huh? I mean, that's fair. I like that you balanced out the respect versus hatred part of it. Look, we will have many more conversations about Josh Allen and probably Connor McDavid as they both seem to be the juxtaposition of each other now. So that's our show. I wanted to say thank you everyone for listening, tuning in. Thank you, Kason, for going on this journey with me, even as as time's gone on and we've done this show for what 3 years now.
Hmm.
We've gotten a little bit more sporadic between my job and your family literally getting bigger. But hey, the family, the show increases, and I love jumping on here and talking all this nonsense with you, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's been awesome.
All right, so here's to 100 more, man. That's our 100th episode of
Absolutely.
Junction 119. This is Kellan,
This is Casen.
and we'll see you at the next stop.